everybody, it's Katie, the Celestial Homebody. I hope you're all having a wonderful week, and if you're not, hopefully a little yarn and crochet will cheer you up. I have a lot of fun things to talk to you guys about today. Firstly, off to my side here, I have a ton of things to show you that I made this week. I was actually a lot more productive than I thought I would be, having started my full-time job, but I really went all out with the big makes this week, which I really did not need to do, because since going through all of my market inventory, which you guys will see next Monday, I have a video coming out that is showcasing everything that I have for the start of this market season. In that video, I mentioned that I have a lot of big stuff and I need some more little stuff. Last week, I made all little stuff, and so I was really itching to really sink my teeth into some larger projects. So this week I did all big stuff. But also, in addition to showing you what I made this week, I have a big old box of Premier yarn right here to show you, because today we're going to be showcasing and reviewing the new Mama Made Minis collaboration with Premier Yarns on their basic chenille brights. If you guys have been around for a little bit, you might know that the Premier Basic Chenille Brights is one of my favorite yarns to work with. It is in my top 3 for sure. I absolutely love the colors, and the value is great. It's only $3.99 a skein if it's not on sale, which sometimes it is, and it's a great value. The colors are just so vibrant and fun and beautiful. However, they are lacking in some areas with colors, primarily on greens and purples. There aren't that many to choose from, so you better bet that when Mama Made Minis, the pattern designer, I guess, is like their main thing that they do. They make plushies too, but they're mainly known for pattern designing, specifically the little Snuggable Lovies. They have a book and everything. You might have heard of them. I feel like they're pretty well known in the crochet community, specifically with amigurumi makers, because I don't know that they do any like flat crochet stuff. Everything that I've seen from them is like the lovies. That's kind of their niche, and I love that for them. So when they announced that they would be coming out with new colors in collaboration with Premier, I said, oh, I'm gonna get my grubby, sticky, peanut buttery fingers on those colors, because I was holding out hope that they would give us some new greens and browns and purples, and they kind of did. Kind of. Now, I opened the box and I've like peeked in, but I have not actually gone through all of these colors yet. So we're gonna go through them together, and I'm going to give you guys my honest feedback and opinions on them. So I am a Premier affiliate, so there's a link in my description box. If you ever want to order from Premier and you use that link in my description, it doesn't cost you any more money, but it does give me a small commission that I can put toward more yarn to make more things to show you guys and review. So because I'm an affiliate does not mean that I'm going to look at this with all sunshine and rainbows. You know me, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on some things. So before we even take a look at the colors, I want to mention a few things that I'm not a fan of right off the bat. And I promise we're going to get to some positives, but I feel like these are important to mention, because a lot of people who I have talked to who purchased these on launch day, however many skeins they ended up getting, whether it be one color or all of the colors or anything in between, everybody who I've talked to told me that they did not notice that this yarn is more expensive than the regular basic chenille brights. And I'm confused as to why. So a normal skein of Premier Basics Brights looks exactly like this. It is the exact same yardage, gram weight, everything. And it's normally listed for $3.99 on Premier's website, although they do occasionally have sale in which you can get them for like $2.99, I think, is the lowest that I've seen this yarn go. But for some reason, this is $4.99 a skein. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that this yarn, I don't think, in my opinion, is a good value for $5 for this skein. For reference, if you are a burnout blanket fan, which I definitely am, that's another one in my top 3 yarns. If you're curious, it's Elise Voluto, Burnout Blanket, and Chenille Brights are my top 3. Not necessarily in that order, but those are just my 3 favorite brands to use for amigurumi plushies. But A skein of Bernat, you get more on a skein of Bernat, and at Walmart, it's less than $12. Here, it's $5 for one. So, you know, it's not a great value in my opinion. I like how I'm just holding it on my finger like I'm a toddler at Thanksgiving with an olive. Anyways, so then the question becomes, well, are these colors worth $1 more per skein? Now, I don't know and don't pretend to know what goes into collaborating with a major yarn brand like Premier. I don't know how much work Mama Made Minis has to put in order to make this collaboration happen. I don't know if it's as complicated as them having to buy all of the stock of yarn themselves and ship it themselves and everything like that, and Premier is only there to advertise it and actually manufacture it. I don't know if it's as complicated as that or as least complicated as Mama Made Minis just saying this is the color palette, make it, and then Premier does everything else. I would like to believe that there is a reason that it's $1 more a skein, but I'm just saying I'm trying to be your friend here and look out for you, especially if amigurumi or any sort of crochet is a business endeavor for you, whether you be a vendor who sells at markets or online or whatever it may be. The value for this, I don't think is there compared to the regular basic sprites. So that brings us to, are the colors good enough to justify that $1 more? And here's what I have to say on that note before we get to the positives. You would think that for a brand that is as big as them, who has all of that background knowledge, they would come into this launch prepared, knowing, accurately estimating how much of these colors they're going to need to order to have in stock. And the reason that I bring all this up is because if you were fortunate like me to get all of these colors, then you might not know that within 10 or 15 minutes, multiple colors had already sold out. And I don't like that. Specifically, I think 2 of the brown shades went within like the first few hours. And I don't know, I just feel like for a company who's in the crochet community, they would have hopefully have had the forethought to think brown is going to be a very popular color, because there's not a lot of brown shades in any other yarn brands that people really love that much. Like Bernat has like one of their hundreds of colors and variations. They've got like 1 or 2 brown shades. So I don't know, I was a little bit disappointed to go back on the website a few hours after I had placed my order and see that multiple colors of those browns were already sold out, and then hearing from friends who are also crocheters that they're disappointed because they weren't able to get the colors that they wanted. That is not good. And again, I don't know what goes into collaborating with Premier, so I don't know if that was on the Mama Made Minis side or the Premier side. Because if you've been following Premier for a while, then you know that they tend to be sold out of a lot of the popular colors, and we're constantly like, make more, just take our money. We want to pay you. We want to give you our money. Just give us the colors and get them back in stock as soon as possible. So that was really the only 2 like negative things that I wanted to point out and get the bad stuff out of the way. So I've been yapping a lot, and I know that you just want to see the colors. So I guess we'll start with this one since I held it up. So this is a very interesting shade of pink. It's called Cosmo. There is the SKU for it. It is a dusty pink, but I don't know how I feel about this color, to be honest with you guys. It is very unique. I think this is just completely personal preference. I tend to prefer the more blushy pinks versus the purpley pinks. but I will say that this is a quite unique shade. The only thing that I could compare this to is there is a new Loops and Threads Demi Pearl color that is quite similar to this dusty pink. And if I had some of it, I would show you to compare, but unfortunately I don't. I actually went ahead and bought 2 skeins of this color because of its uniqueness. I don't know what I'm gonna be using this on because it's not bright enough to be like a flamingo or an axolotl, but I don't know. I feel like this would pair really pretty with one of the burnout variegateds that I have on hand, or even the basic Chenille Brights tie-dye. What color is that? Flower Child, maybe? It's got all the pinks and purples in it. I think that this would be really pretty paired with that. I went ahead and got 2 skeins. And then the only other color that I got 2 skeins of is their purple. And then I got 3 skeins of one of the browns. So I mentioned that one of the Basics Brights downfalls is the color selection in green and purple. So I was very excited to see that they have this new shade of purple. This is called Heather. There is the SKU for it. And this is just like a standard purple color. However, I will say, I'm looking at my stash right now and I do not have any colors that are similar to this. The closest thing I would say is Parfait Chunky in the color Haze is kind of a similar like tone to this Heather color. I wish that a more, I don't want to say bright purple because they do have a bright purple. It is like electric purple. I want something in between. I want just like a normal medium purple color. So Premier, if you're watching this, please give us a medium purple color. I would be so appreciative and I would give you all of my money. But this is a really pretty color purple. Nothing super unique about it in my opinion, but nothing that I have in my stash. So I am happy that I got 2 of those. So let's do the browns last because I feel like those are the ones that everybody was like fighting tooth and nail over. I guess we'll go in chromatic order. So this next one, this is a really pretty blue shade. This is called Dewdrop. I was sensing a theme that they were going with all very nature-y theme names. And I do like that. This is a beautiful light blue, but it's almost got like a foggy tone to it. This one is unique. This is a very unique shade of blue that I could not compare anything to it. So I would almost say it's more on the line of a periwinkle in person, and the colors might be coming off a little bit different in camera or on the camera. But that is beautiful. I'm looking forward to using that one. I kind of wish that I got more, but I guess I could place another order. Okay, next up, let's do the greens. So the greens are another weak point for Premier in the brights. Their Parfait Chunky line has so many beautiful greens, and I wish that they could use the same dye for the Basics Brights. I am no longer a Parfait Chunky fan. I used to be, but since they came out with this yarn, I have only been wanting to use this because I just prefer it. So they have 2 green shades. So let's do the darker one first. So this one is called Cypress, and it is a yellowy green. This one is unique too. However, I believe that I have an Elise Voluto color that's very similar to this. Let me grab it so we can compare. Oh yeah, also look at how cute my shirt is, you guys. I got this from Sam's Club. It says Indiana with our state flower on it, the poppy. And then at the bottom it says the Hoosier State, founded in 1816. $10, $9.99 at Sam's Club, or $9.98. Great, I love it. And it's so comfy too. Anyways, let me grab that Elise. Okay, this is the Elise Voluto color that I was thinking. This is the new Mama Made Minis. So this one is a little bit darker, but if you can see kind of what I'm saying in terms of the tone, it almost has like a yellowy tone to it. But these I feel like would work really well together. And actually this Elise Voluto sandwiches really beautifully in between this lighter green. That's a beautiful gradient. This one is called Zest. And I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but the only thing that I can think of that's this color is baby poop. And I don't say that negatively at all. It's a unique, fun shade of maybe like chartreuse would be how you would classify this. But I really like the idea of using these three together in something very naturey. Zest, that makes me think of like a lemon zest. But I don't think that they would want to go with the name Baby Poop Green for this one. So I agree with the name Zest that they chose for this one. Okay, then we have, moving into the oranges. So this one is called Nectar. Yeah, I thought that it was, but I wanted to make sure. This is Nectar, and it's a really beautiful orange. Kind of looks like the inside of a cantaloupe to me. So this one is similar in tone to the color Shell in the Premier lines. They have that shell color in the Parfait Chunky, the Parfait Plush, the Brights. They've got it across the board. This is a very similar tonal shade to it, but it is darker, maybe a little bit more orangey, but I feel like those two yarns would pair nicely together if you're doing like a gradient. I'm not sure what I would use this color on because it's too orange and like just not a human color to use it on like a doll, for example. But it's not as bright to use it on like a orange type food like a carrot or anything. So this one's going to take me a little bit of thinking to figure out what I want to use this on. But maybe pair it with something. Let me see. You know what? This actually looks really pretty with the purple, in my opinion. I think that those look really pretty together. So maybe I'll use those in something. Oh, maybe next week I can show you what I've made with some of these yarns. Okay, next we've got this pink shade. Okay, so this color pink I really like, because remember how I mentioned that I like more orangey blush colored pinks? This one's called Blossom, and I'll show you in comparison to the Cosmo color. This one is a lot more muted. This type pink I prefer a lot more, but there is a time and place for the use of both of these. I really like this color a lot. It is, how do I explain this? It's kind of similar to Ballet Pink from Premier, but it's a lot more orange in the undertone. It is really, really beautiful, but it's not orange. So here is that Nectar color. And in comparison, as you can see, this one's definitely not orange, but when it stands alone on the camera, it almost looks orange. That's why I like to show you guys comparison to other colors, because I feel like it helps you visualize them better. But yeah, this Blossom color is a fan favorite for me for sure. Next, we've got this color. This one is called Sunny, and it is this beautiful marigold. This would be great for doing like a sunflower. It's just a really rich, really rich. I don't know that I would call this sunshine or sunny. Well, maybe they were going for like a sunflower theme. That makes sense. Actually, that makes sense because it's not bright. This is like the epitome of fall. When I think of fall, this is the color that comes to mind. It's a little orangey. It's, I don't know, it's just like rich and yummy. I really like that one. Sunny is the name of that one. Then we've got this one. This is an interesting color. So this one is called Redwood, I believe. Yes, this is Redwood. And this is technically, I think, classified as a brown, but it has a red undertone to it. You know, the name kind of gave that away. But it is, I would say like a terracotta color, maybe. The only thing that I can think of that's a little similar to this shade is there is a demi pearl color that is somewhat similar, but I do believe that this is a little bit darker and more red, and then the terracotta color in the demi pearl is a little bit more orange and slightly lighter, and if I had it I would show you the comparison. But this one is a very unique shade of brown too. I feel like this would be perfect for a squirrel. Oh my gosh, I love it. Also, I have not mentioned the feel of these. So you better bet when I saw that it was $1 more a skein, I said, oh, we better be getting soft, silky skeins. And I'm happy to report that every single one of these is so nice. This one feels a little bit more dense of a yarn than some of the others, but like this one in particular is so soft and spongy. I'm excited to work with that one if you can't tell. But all of these have been great. None of them have been like starchy or gross, which unfortunately with any yarn brand, sometimes you get. Okay, let's move into the browns now. This is the first one. It's called Mocha, and it is a chocolatey brown, but it's not too dark. This one is a great shade to have on hand for a lot of animals. I was going to say for like a bear, but honestly, there are a lot of brown animals. This one, though, I feel like is the perfect in-between, because what the Premier Brights had in browns before these came out was they had the lighter shades like the steel cut oats and all of those, and then they had the more orangey / yellow shades like the rust and the curry, and then they had really dark like chocolate. This is like a really nice in between where it's neutral. You know, it doesn't have orange or yellow or pink undertones. It is just brown. Like if I were to make a hot chocolate, this is the color brown that I would want my hot chocolate to be for the best taste palette, you know? So this one, again, is called Mocha, and it's really pretty. I should have gotten more of those, honestly. I'll show you the color that I got 3 of. I got the lighter brown, and I don't know why. This is the color that made me want to get more than one. This is the color called Toast. I almost showed you upside down. Toast, and this is a medium neutral brown. However, actually I just said neutral brown, but this is kind of leaning orange to me in person. Here it is compared to the Mocha color. I don't know if that's coming off to you on camera. I feel like I'm very in tune with undertones of colors. I don't know why, but I feel like, I don't know, this one has some more orangey undertones than this one does. I don't know, but I ended up getting 3 of these. And honestly, if I could go back in time, I would have gotten 3 of these and only 1 of these, because this is also very similar to the steel cut oats color in terms of saturation and like where it is on the light spectrum. This is just a medium, light medium brown, but I don't know how I feel about the slightly orange pink undertones, but I went ahead and got 3 of them. Also, these are very soft, but they have a different texture. Let me see if this will come off on camera here. Okay, so this one, do you see how textured it is? Like how ripply it is? Compared to the Mocha, which is very fluffy. So the Toast almost looks thinner than the Mocha does, and it's also more textured. They are both soft, they just feel slightly different. Also, there are a few little fluffs pulling off of them, but that's normal. This yarn does not shed well, I don't know about this particular, but normally the Basics Brights does not shed, which we love, especially if you're coming from using like the loops and threads yarns, like the Chenille Home Slim and the Sweet Snuggles Light, almost forgot the name of it. Similar to how Bernat doesn't snap or shed, this is the same as that. I would say Bernat is the most comparable yarn to this, which is why I used it to compare the price. So also in the browns, we have this other one that's also red brown. It's called Cedar. And hang on. Okay, I see. It's slightly darker. I was like, is this the same color? No, it's slightly darker, but I don't love that they are near identical. This one is slightly lighter. This is the redwood. This one's cedar. They're both named after trees that are slightly red. And this one is ever so slightly darker, and I don't love that. I would have rather they use that slot for something different, like another green or a more neutral brown. I don't know, but I guess there's a time and place to use both of these. I guess this would also make for a good squirrel. This is actually a really good Highland cow color. Very, very similar color to the Chenille Home Slim Rust. What did they call that color? I almost want to say it was called Rust. Very similar shade to that. I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. Just, I don't know that I needed both of these. You know, I feel like you could choose one or the other. So again, redwood, cedar. Cedar is slightly darker and more brown. Redwood is a little more red. Okay, then this is the last brown. This one is called Pebble, and it is a very muted brown. Very, very muted and subdued brown color. There's actually a brown in Elise Voluto that is very similar to this, but I would call this maybe a grayish, a gray brown. Definitely not a true brown. Here's the mocha color and the true brown. Here's this one. I actually have a project in mind that I'm going to use this Pebble on, I think this next week. So you can look forward to seeing this in action very soon. Okay, and then the final yarn, I think, yeah, final yarn in the line is this gray color. This one is extra soft. This one is called Pepper, as in Mrs. Pepper and Mr. Salt. If you know, you know. And little baby Paprika, who, by the way, Paprika is a teenager now, and now they have like 5 kids. They're just out there procreating like crazy, all these spices. Anyways, so this is Pepper, and it is a dark gray with almost a blue undertone. I feel like that is not coming off on camera, but this reminds me, there's an Elise Voluto color that's called Steel or something like that. That is similar to this. I do think that this is a little less blue than that one is. I remember when I opened that Elise Voluto package, I was like, I thought I ordered gray, but it was like almost too blue. This one is not that blue. This definitely leans more gray, but it does have a slight blue undertone. I don't know what I'm going to use this one on either, but this one I think is the softest of the bunch. I just keep sticking my fingers into it like it's a Chinese finger trap. But it's so nice. It's so soft to finger. So I'm enjoying it. So yeah, look forward to the next few weeks of what I make with this. And leave me your 2 cents in the comments about this yarn. Do you think it's worth $5 for a skein of this? Did it fill or not fill a need for you in terms of color variation? I would overall say that I'm satisfied with the colors. I do wish that they had maybe had one more green that was not leaning yellow, since both of the greens that they had did lean yellow, just more of a neutral green. And then I also wish that they had done a medium purple, like I mentioned. But other than that, I'm satisfied with the colors, and I'm very excited to put my grubby hands all over these more than I already have and make something with them. So yeah, leave me your 2 cents down below, and I'm gonna throw these all back in the box and sort them later so that I can show you what I crocheted this week. And thank you to everybody who's been reaching out to me on Instagram, wishing me best of luck with the start of my job. You guys are so sweet. It's been going great. I mean, I only have worked 1 week. It's definitely a change for me to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning when that used to be almost like my bedtime. I used to go to bed at like 6 a.m., 5:36. So I'm flipping my schedule, and I took naps every single break last week just to get by, but it's going great. And honestly, it's nice being able to spend more time here in the shed office. I mean, I already spend a lot of time in here when I'm like working on art business stuff, but to sit at my computer and work like a big girl job, I feel very fancy. Every morning I make myself a cup of coffee and I sit at my desk, and I don't know why, but that's just like a vibe. And then the morning sun comes through the window and it makes my stained glass window clings cast a rainbow all over the room, and it's just, I'm enjoying it. I am tired, but I've been enjoying it. So last week was training, so it was a pretty chill week for me. So I was able to get quite a few things done. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did all big stuff. So next Monday, when you see my showing off my inventory video, I make multiple comments in that video about needing to make small things. And I did that last week. I fulfilled past Katie's goal of making more small things. And so I was just like, you know what? We're going to go big this week. And before I show you what I made, I have an update. So you guys remember this little flower baby? I showed this off a few weeks ago. This is an amazing pattern by Made Crochet Co. And it's a very expensive pattern, but in my opinion, it was worth it. I got a lot of use out of the pattern packs that I bought. I'll link it for you in case you're interested. But if you remember, I had made this little flower baby for my little baby, Celeste, who is now 18 months old. Where is the time going? I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. I made it for her and put it in her Easter basket, and she wants absolutely nothing to do with it. This is the first plushie that I have ever given her where she's just like, eh. Like, it sat on the table for like days, and I'm like, go get the baby, go get your baby. And then she'd go and pick up one of her other stuffed animals that I made her, and I'm like, why don't you like her? This was like my most favorite thing that I have made this year so far, and she didn't like her. So I am going to commandeer her and put her here in the office. So I just wanted to give you an update in case you see this little flower baby in the background somewhere. You don't think that I just took it from my child since I told you guys I'd be giving it to her. But I said, okay, fine, you don't want it, then I will take it. She is mama's now. And so she's going to find a spot somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know if she's going to go up on top of the yarn storage or if she's going to go somewhere in like the couch area. But poor little baby. I thought she was so cute. I don't know what it is that Celeste didn't like about her, because as I was making all of these, she kept grabbing the other ones and really showing an interest in them. So that's why I made this one specifically for her. I don't know. Maybe it's the pointiness of the flowers. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Who knows what goes through that kid's head. If we could read the minds of toddlers, wouldn't life be so much easier? Oh my gosh. So in terms of what I made new this week, the only thing that I made that is small is one little Nyx the Dragon. I wanted to have a ton of dragons prepared for this market season. I had this yarn out because I was making something else with it, and I was like, I don't have a ton of it left over. What can I make that's just small and quick? So I went ahead and made a little Nyx the Dragon. I have 50 to go, I think, to get my goal for how many baby dragons I want to have. So you're going to see some more coming up in future weeks. But this is Demi Pearl in blue, and I'll show you the big thing that I made with this yarn in a minute here. But I paired it with this Big Twist plush rip. Well, actually, you can get the plush now on a couple of different websites. I know Hirschner's is carrying the plush, and Oriental Trading Company is. You can still get your hands on it, but I used my stash that I panic bought before Joann's went out of business. This is one of my favorite variegateds of all time because, are you kidding me? Look at the colors in that little pastel baby dragon wings. Oh my gosh, it's so cute, so adorable. So I went ahead and made this little guy, and because it is more baby colors, you know, the soft blue and the pastel wings, I decided to embroider the eyes to make it look like he's sleeping so that it would be more baby friendly. But you guys have seen Nyx the Dragon before, one of my favorite plushies of all time, but of course I am biased on that front. So in terms of the big things that I made, so the first thing that I made, well, actually this is the last thing that I made. This is fresh off the hook, like just from a few minutes ago before I sat down to film this video. This was a collaborative project because if you're a subscriber and routinely are on YouTube, your homepage, you might have seen and voted on the past few days. I have been asking you guys what colors I should use in a project, but I didn't tell you what that project was going to be. And you guys voted on the colors. And I will walk you through, in case you did not see those community posts and didn't vote, I will put up on the screen what the results were. So day one, so this is what I said, subscribers choose my color scheme without knowing what I'm making. So on the first day, I asked you guys to choose an accent color, and the options were bright yellow, plum purple, lilac, and deep red. I really wanted to give an array of colors because I don't know, at this point there was no previously selected colors, so it could have gone any which way. And 44% of you voted lilac. So that is what the first color, accent color, was. Then on day two, I asked you to choose another accent color. The options were again bright yellow, this time avocado green, mint, and deep teal. I thought that all of these would look okay with lilac. The avocado green might have been a little funky, but I would have been interested to try to make it work. But you guys voted with 38% popularity, mint. So mint was therefore solidified as our second accent color. This project had a lot of accent colors, by the way. You'll see why in a second when I show you what I made with them. But on day three, I asked you to choose yet another accent color. The options were baby pink, cream, bright yellow, and black. I was really giving you guys all of the yellow because Ryan's favorite color is yellow, so of course he always voted yellow, but he kept telling me that I needed to put yellow in there because he really wanted to see it on this project, but it lost every time. With 42% votes, baby pink won. I was honestly kind of hoping that you guys would pick black because I thought that like the light, soft lilac and mint would look really cool along with the black, but that was the least popular choice. You guys voted baby pink, so that was the third accent color. And finally, the fourth accent color, I gave you guys the options of deep teal, periwinkle, bright yellow, and variegated pastel. I wanted to throw in a variegated in there. I didn't tell you guys like what colors would be in the pastel variation. I was going to use the Bernat Baby Blanket Pitter Patter, if you're familiar. It's got yellow, blue, and pink in it. That was going to be the variegated pastel that I chose if that one had won. But it lost by not a gigantic margin to periwinkle, 44%. So almost half of the votes went to periwinkle. Now the final day, I asked you guys to choose the main body color, and this really could have like made or broken this entire project, but you guys came in clutch with voting 56% popularity on cream. White, black, and gray were the other three options. I just wanted to go neutrals. And again, I was kind of rooting for black because I thought that all of the pastels that you guys had chosen would look really cool with black, but cream was the final answer. I was going to do another day and have you guys vote on what theme eyes I should make for this plushie and give you guys options like ocean, space, flowers, or I don't know what the fourth one would be. I don't know what it would be. I was just trying to think of something, but I was going to do that. But then I found in my pre-painted eyes a set that a subscriber had sent to me, and I really decided that they would be perfect for this make. So that's what I ultimately used. And y'all, come here. I gotta kiss ya. You're a genius. You're a beautiful person and you're so smart and you are brilliant because y'all, look at what you made me make. This is the pastel clown elephant with the colors that you guys chose. And are you kidding me? You are amazing. You are so beautiful to me. Who knows, Little Rascals? Love that movie as a kid. Anyways, so this is what I was making. This is a Holly's Yarn Creations pattern. I made recently the clown cat from her. This one I have made before. I was actually a pattern tester for the clown elephant. Her name is Eloise, by the way. I was a pattern tester, and the last time I made this, I used gray for the body and then yellow, teal, and red for the overalls and the accents, and made it look like a Dumbo. And I love the way that it turned out. Custom painted eyes for it. That actually went up on the website and just got sent out last week to its new adoptive home. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna have an elephant clown now for my booth, so I gotta make another one. And this could have gone so differently depending on what colors you guys chose, but are you kidding me? You guys must know me well, because most of you picked all of the light, cheerful pastel colors, and I'm so glad that you did. So we have the lilac from day one in one side of the pants. That's really the only place that I use the lilac. Also, it's in the eyes, the purple in the eyes. I'll talk about those in a second. Then we have the, what was day two? Mint in the little neck ruffle here and the buttons, as well as the hat. Day three was the periwinkle on the other side of the pants and the hat accent. And then day four was baby pink that I used for the straps, as well as the little pom-pom on top of the head. I did not ask you guys for an accent color that I would be using on the inside of the ears. I just used a burnt blush on the inside here. But I feel like if you guys had chosen black for the elephant color body, I think that that actually would have looked really, really cool with all of these light colors. But I am happy that you didn't, because I just made that clown cat that I used black for the body. So this one is like a juxtaposition. Do I have the, oh yes, I do. Hang on. I have the clown cat right here so I can show you. So this is what the clown cat looks like. Black body with neon colors. This one is a white body with pastel colors. And they look so good next to each other. Oh my gosh, I love them. They're gonna look so cute displayed together. This is the only clown stuff that I'm doing, because my friend Ash at Crescent Studios is vending at the same conventions that I am, and that their brand is like all clown stuff. So I don't want to go crazy with the clowns, because I don't want to step on that, you know, their toes, the Crescent Studio toes. I'll leave that domain, that niche to them. But I wanted to pick a pattern that I could ask you guys a lot of different colors for. The only other thing that I could think of was like a dragon, maybe. But I don't know. There are just very few projects that need that many colors, but I wanted it to be as interactive as possible. So that's why ultimately we picked this pattern. So this one, I will admit that I did not do a great job sewing the buttons. Like I mentioned, this is fresh off the hook. I was in a hurry to get out here and film this video, and I just did not sew the buttons on great. Like, I mean, they're on there good, but they're not centered underneath the suspenders. And I don't know, it's not my best work. And then also the little ruffle is very ruffly. I modified the pattern a little bit to be more ruffly, because as I was following it, and I remember this happening the first time that I made this too, it's only one round, or you do a chain and then you crochet back in the chain, and it just did not come out very ruffly to me. So I did a second row of 3 half double crochets per stitch, and that just made it incredibly ruffly. And it may be a little too ruffly, but I do feel like it's acceptable. It's cute. The pants are another thing that I modified. So the first time that I made this, because I was a pattern test, I followed the pattern as written, of course, and this pattern has the pants detachable, so you can actually take the pants and pull them down and pull them off and he would just be naked. But I was running very low on this burnout cream color that you guys had chosen for me. So I was not confident that I would have enough of this yarn to do the entire elephant body in the cream and then do the pants underneath or to go on top. So I was like, oh, we're just going to color change to the pant color and do it that way. That way I save some of my cream yarn for the other, like I get to do the arms and the ears. So save the cream yarn. I had just barely enough. I did win yarn chicken though, snaps for me. But it does not look as good, I don't think. I think that it looks a lot better when the pants are detachable. But I did try something and I did these little scallops around the legs here just to add a little something something. It's also a lot harder to color change when you're doing it as a body, in my opinion. You know, and also I feel like maybe if I were to do this again, which I'm not planning on, but if I were, I would go up a few more rounds with the pants color before I color change to the body, because the pants are very low. These are like Britney Spears 1998 lowriders. And I feel like they could go up 1 or 2 rounds higher to be more clown-like, because clowns wear pants like how I wear my underwear, going up to the nips, because we love a comfortable granny panty around here. So that's what I would change. But other than that, I mean, I think he turned out adorable. Oh, I promised I was going to tell you about the eyes. So I cannot for the life of me remember who sent me these eyes. If you were the beautiful human that sent me these to my P.O. box a while ago, please leave a comment. The card said that they were glow in the dark. If it wasn't daytime out, I would show you how they glow, but the pupils glow, which is so freaking cool. But it didn't have the business name on the little card, so I don't know who they are by, but they are blue pupil with purple sparkles in them. And although there's no true blue in the color selection that you guys picked, I feel like it still fit the vibe, you know? So this is my clown elephant, and honestly, once I finished this, I kind of thought to myself, do I even want to take this to market, or do I want to add it to my pastel plushie shelf that's above the cosmic couch? Right now up there we have pastel Picasso, we have the yellow Luma, the Sylveon that I made just recently, and then a little chibi Kiki and Lala Sanrio characters. So this would definitely fit up there for sure. But I like the idea of displaying the cat and the elephant next to each other because of that just nice juxtaposition and color. I love them. The next thing that I made is a pattern that I have also done before, but it has been a while. I think the last time I made this was before Fall Festival last year, so that would have been 6 months ago now since I have even looked at this pattern. And oh gosh, who is this pattern by? I'm not going to even try to say because I don't want to get it wrong, but I will link it for you, of course. So this is a laying cow. And in the past, I have made this pattern 3 times. The first one, I did a normal milk cow. The second time, I did a Highland cow. And then the third time, I modified it to be a unicorn. This time, I wanted to do something even different again, and I made a strawberry cow, and it turned out gigantic. I used a 7mm hook on this and the Big Twist plush. And I was not expecting it to turn out this big. Like, I knew this is large yarn, but I had this color called Strawberry Smoothie, and then this variegated pink, which I think is called Strawberry Sherbet or Strawberry Sorbet, one of those two. And I'm like, strawberry is literally in the name. We've got to use them. For the hot pink, I used Demi Pearl and Pink Lemonade, which, okay, it's not strawberry, but at least it's another fruit. So I felt that they all went beautifully together. Are we still into strawberry cows? I feel like they were very big a few years ago in the crochet community, and I don't see them as much anymore, which is maybe a good thing, but this would be something that I would definitely buy if I could not make it it myself. If I saw this at a market, I would buy it. I think she turned out so adorable. Kawaii desu. So I did the spots as listed in the pattern, but because it's variegated yarn that I use for this spots, and there is a color pink in here that is very similar to the body color, they don't show up that well, but they're there. Rest assured, they are there. For the eyes, these are my own safety eyes. These actually were in the last drop that I just showed you guys off last week. These are the strawberry shortcake eyes. I still have, I think, 1 or 2 pairs of these left on the website, by the way, if you're interested. But they are pink and white background, sparkly, and then they have little slices of strawberry in them. And I thought that that was perfect for her. I also gave her some eyelashes because she's a pretty pink girl cow. For the horns, I did not use the demi pearl because I didn't want the strawberries to come out ginormous. So this is the color Pink Lemonade, I believe, in Parfait Chunky. So it's just kind of funny that these 2 yarns are almost the same color, 2 completely different brands and makers, but they are near the same color and they are named the exact same thing. So this is my strawberry cow who is just laying on her belly. I did make a grave mistake. Yeah, I did make a grave mistake and I put the feet backwards. I should have flipped them so that the nice clean edge was facing backwards since she's going to be laying and that's what's facing up. But unfortunately, you can see my change here, both in color and also to get the feet flat, you do a 3rd loop crochet. And because of that, it kind of looks funky when I get to the end of the round and it switches rounds, as you can see there. So if you're going to make this pattern, pay attention to which direction you're putting the legs, because I wish I didn't realize it until I got up here. And after all those color changes, I was like, it's staying. Hopefully a non-crocheter won't notice, especially with the tail right there. Like, you can't really tell, but as a crocheter who's very critical of my own work, of course, I'm like, oh my gosh, I hate it. But overall, kawaii desu. Love her. Let's put her in the body bag. She's going to market. Okay, the next few things that I have to show you, I need to give a little disclaimer here and talk about this just for a brief moment, because I know that every crochet artist right now is kind of freaking out about the whole like AI takedown of copyrighted stuff. And legally, no, we should not be making copyright stuff. But morally, I don't have anything against it. And as somebody who takes their plushies to conventions to sell, I don't really have a choice but to do some of this kind of thing. And it's just, if you're going to do it, you just need to know the risks. Like, educate yourself on the risks. Don't take anything that I say as fact, please. I am not a lawyer. I did not pass the bar. I barely passed the SATs. So yeah, just take that with a grain of salt. Just know your risks if you're going to do that. However, at conventions, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but many conventions actually require that you have characters of trademarked shows and movies and pop culture. And when you apply to some conventions, they will ask you what percentage of your booth is trademarked characters, copyrighted characters, and original character designs. And some conventions don't like it when you only have a booth full of your own designs. A lot, like the most common split is that they want to see 50-50. You've got 50% of your booth is original, 50% is pop culture related things. And there was a reel on Instagram going around that I just recently saw, and I was going to comment something snotty on it, but I didn't. I held back. Of somebody who said, I've been going to conventions for many years, like as a guest, not a vendor. And they said, these are the things that I hate seeing. And amongst those were crochet booths. And then their reasoning was because I don't want to see just a bunch of regular animals crocheted at a convention. I'm going to see fandom art. And I was going to comment something like, well, you realize that that is them technically breaking the law. So you're essentially asking to please you that they break the law. I didn't say that, but that's kind of what was going through my head. And so, yeah, the next few things that I'm going to show you do fall under that category. So just FYI, use at your own risk, I suppose. And I will link the patterns for these if you want to make them just for your own use. But I will mention this as well. If you make a copyrighted character, even just for you, that is still illegal. A lot of people don't know that. They think if I'm not selling it, that's not illegal. It still is, because you have to think of it from the company's standpoint. Whenever they have a potential loss of a sale in a competitive market, so a plushie, for example, if they lose a sale because you made your own plushie versus buying one from them, they still lost money. It is still illegal. So even if you're giving it to somebody as a gift, not charging money for it, it's still copyright infringement. So with all that being said, I'm going to show you some trademarked characters that I made. Okay, so the first one, we'll do like the most popularly known one, and that is Mew. So this is a pattern by Pebbles Crochet, and I just made the Sylveon recently. Very similar style, but of course this is Mew. One of the most fan favorites, I think, in terms of the Pokemon. But for this one, I really messed up big time, and I did not remember that Mew's eyes are blue. So I custom painted these eyes and everything, and I made them like pink gold with little stars in them, because I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool with the big 35mm white pupil eyes, gold and pink with stars. It's very Psychic coded, because this is a Psychic Pokemon. And then I finished the head and I was like, something looks off. And then I looked up a picture of Mew and I was like, blue eyes, blue eyes. I should have used blue pupil eyes, or just painted them blue. And so, yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but you know, this is not Mew. This is New with no blue eyes, with pink gold eyes instead. But Pebbles Crochet patterns are really cute. They normally aren't great market makes, only because they take a long time for the size that they come out to be. But because I am familiar with the patterns, I know how big they come out and how long they take me, almost 3-4 hours usually. I went ahead and used an 8mm hook on this and the new Demi Pearl from Michaels so that it would come out a nice big size. And I'm happy to say that this came out bigger than what I was expecting it to. And I think it's a great size. And I gave her a little bit of blush. So I also had another shade of Demi Pearl that I wanted to use. So I decided on this one to make a shiny Mew. So this is blue, and on this one I gave blue eyes with the stars in them as well. See, I should have given this Mew these eyes. Also, look at the size difference. This is an 8mm hook with Demi Pearl. This is a 7mm hook with Demi Pearl. And the only reason that I sized down on this one is because this skein, I don't know if you can tell based on the texture. Do you see how tubular this one is compared to this one that's almost fuzzy, fluffy? This was a completely different texture of any other skein of Demi Pearl that I have seen before, and it was much, much thinner than what I was used to. So I went ahead and sized down, and I'm glad that I did, because I think I would have definitely gotten holes, but it just makes those 35mm white pupil eyes just pop out even more. I didn't give this one blush though. I felt like the blush would contrast too much with the blue fur tone. I really need to get some more colors in blush. You guys know I love my e.l.f. cosmetic, I'm sorry, my Wet n Wild blush. I picked this up at Walmart for like $1 like last year, and I haven't even broken pan on it, but I use that on all my plushies. I feel like I should get a palette of blushes, that some that lean more orange, some that lean more red, some, you know, rosy pink or whatever. So that way I can really match the color of the blush to the color of the yarn better. Because sometimes this color blush just doesn't work nicely on, you know what, hang on. I should put blush on the elephant. After I'm done showing you these, we're gonna put blush on the elephant together. Anywho, so they turned out different sizes, but I do like the size that both of them came out to be. And I think that these are going to be a showstopper at markets. Now, I will say that they are snuggler bodies. So you do not stuff the body. You can if you want to, but they are half double crochets here in the body. So if your half doubles are too loose or you're using too big of a hook, maybe don't stuff because your little fingers could slip through there. Maybe not your little fingers, but somebody's little fingers can slip through there. I don't stuff mine just because I like being able to hold them like this and how their bodies kind of like flop. I just think that adds a lot of charm and character to them. I also like putting their tails up like this. Oh my gosh. The next time I go to Hobby Lobby, I need to get a few more doll stands because something like this I can't set on my table. So I use doll stands to put around their necks to hold them, and then it kind of looks like they're levitating. So 2 little psychic kitties, I guess we'll call them. Okay, let me grab our elephant here and we will put blush on here together. Normally I use the blush or the brush for the blush, but because this is such a light color for the skin tone, I guess we could call it, I don't want to use the blush because I think it's going to be too much. So I'm just going to use my finger and dab just a little bit on there. Okay, that's not enough. That's barely shows up. Let's do a little more. Okay, it's coming together. It's showing a little bit. I think we can do a little more. Oh, was that too much? No, maybe? No, I think that's good. That's perfect. We don't want too much. We don't want her to look like she's standing on the street corner. Oh gosh, that was too much. Oh no, she's standing on the street corner. Okay, I kind of rubbed it in and it doesn't look as bad, but that scared me for a second. Okay. Are they even though? Really got to rub it in there. Also get the blush off my fingers before I touch any of my other plushies. Okay, there we go. That adds a little something something, doesn't it? Oh, that's cute. Good thinking, guys. I told you were brilliant. Thank you for reminding me to do that. Okay, the next thing that I made, this one has actually been on my to make list for a long time, and if you watch my vlogs that I used to put out every Friday, but we're taking a break from those right now, but I mentioned in a few of those that I wanted to make this, and I finally got around to making it, and that is a hornet from Hollow Knight. And this is actually a free pattern from One Up Crochet, I believe. It's on the blog. I will link it for you. It's just a free blog pattern, and it took a while. Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on. This is Chenille Homeslim for the cape. And if you know Chenille Homeslim, you know that you're just going to look at it the wrong way and it's going to shed all over the place. Anyways, this is pretty small for how long it took, but oh my gosh, I'm sorry. There's this little red fluff all over the place, and I keep thinking that she's got like blood or something coming out of her head. Pretty sure it's a she. I think Hornet is a she. But I did really like the way that the little horns were done. You kind of do it just like feet, you know, like for the elephant, for example, I made 2 feet and then I crocheted them together. You do them like that. And the reason that I bring it up is because I first tried to follow a free Instagram pattern for Hornet, and the way that they did the horns made no sense to me, and with so little pictures on a free pattern, I was like, what are you asking me to do? So I frogged it out and went to this pattern. So it was a very welcome change to see them do it in a way that like I was familiar with crocheting. This is also a baby Hornet, so in the game, the horns are a lot longer and a lot skinnier. This one has just like little horns. This is like chibi version, you know? It's nice that you don't have to make arms because the cape covers, but you see all those little red flecks of yarn on her. I'm going to take the lint roller to her. I'm honestly scared to use a lint roller on the cape though, because I feel like it's going to shed just out of the cape. with the sticky of the lint roller. I don't know. But we got to clean her up for sure, because it's just a bad look to have little red specks all over the place, especially on her beautiful white face with her undead black hole eyes. The little body just cracks me up how tiny it is with this big ol' head. And then you put the cape on, then it looks proportionate. But before I put the cape on, I was like, you're telling me that little body for that giant head? I don't know. It just made me giggle a little bit. The cape took the longest because I am not quick when working in flat crochet, and this is done like flat crochet, and you're increasing pretty much every round with the exception of a few rounds. But I was thinking if this didn't take me too long, I would make a few of these, because this is a very, very popular game franchise. And I was like, I could have 2 or 3. Like, I'm doing 2 conventions here in a few months to have like back stock. But this took me like 3.5 hours to do for how small it came out. And I was like, nah, maybe I could freehand like a little miniature hornet. Not that small, but you know, smaller than this, and figure out a way to do the cape where it's not so many stitches, so it takes me less time. And then maybe I could make a couple of those. Oh, cha-ching! Who ordered what? Tiffany ordered, it doesn't tell me. Tiffany ordered something. Thank you for the pattern purchase, Tiffany. I don't know which one you got, but anywho, so that is my little hornet. Oh, speaking of patterns, over on my Instagram, the Celestial Homebody, same way that it's spelled here, I am doing a pattern giveaway. We just hit 7,000 followers, whatever Instagram calls it, over on Instagram. So in celebration for that milestone, I am giving away the entire Snuggle Sprites collection. So that is Clover the Calf, Luna the Unicorn, Faye the Fawn, all of them. I'm not going to list all of them, but if you're familiar with my Snuggle Sprites and what they look like, you know what? I'll just put a picture of them here. Here you go. This is what you would win. All of the patterns for all of these. I am running that giveaway for the next week. So if you have not yet entered to win that, you can go over there. It's absolutely free to do so. If you don't have an Instagram account, it's free to set up too. And I do recommend it just as a crocheter. I know that there's some people who just don't have an Instagram and don't want to use it, but I will say that it is an invaluable resource as a crocheter for free patterns, for inspiration. Like it's really good to have. You don't have to be on it like all the time, but in my opinion, it's worth making an account just to get those free patterns that you can't get anywhere else. So go apply to that if you are interested in winning. And also as a celebratory yippee, I also put all of my patterns on sale for the next couple of days on my Etsy shop only. So if you've been eyeing any of my patterns and want to get your hands on them, they're on sale for a few days over there on, not Instagram, on Etsy. Okay, so the last thing that I have to show you guys today is one that I freehanded, so I do not have a pattern for this. But Ryan and I just finished watching the live action One Piece last weekend. Oh my goodness, my phone is going off like crazy. Let me mute that so it doesn't bother you guys. Hang on. It is a Netflix exclusive. If you're unfamiliar with One Piece, it is an anime. It is like the Japanese version of The Simpsons. It has been going on for decades. They're on episode like 1,200 or something insane like that, like of the anime version. It's based on a Japanese manga, which is like a Japanese comic book. And they adapted a live action of it on Netflix, and there's 2 seasons, and y'all, it is so good. For some context, I promise there's a reason I'm telling you all this. For some context, I have tried starting the anime One Piece a handful of times, and I just hated it. Could not get past like the first 3 episodes because the animation is so bad and outdated. Their voices were annoying to me, all of that. So when the live action came out, I was like, I guess we'll watch it. But y'all, when I tell you that I fell in love with frickin' One Piece, and now I am on my One Piece journey. I'm currently watching the anime, and I am on the Skypiea arc, if you're familiar. And that show just ignited my love for the entire series. And if you are looking for a new show recommendation to watch while you're crocheting, binge watch, highly recommend the One Piece live action. You do not need to know anything about the manga or the anime or the characters or anything to start this show. It is so well done. I just can't even put it into words. You're just gonna have to watch it for yourself. Specifically, if you are a fan of Once Upon a Time or Game of Thrones, I feel like the One Piece live action is like a love child of Once Upon a Time, like the fantasy aspect of it, combined with like the politics and the grittiness of, almost said House of the Dragon. Well, that, but Game of Thrones. It's like their love child. So I highly recommend the watch if you have a Netflix subscription. Oh my goodness, I can talk. So the reason that I told you all this is because in the end of season 2 of live action One Piece, we just met Tony Chopper, and I had also just gotten there in the anime. So Chopper was on the mind. So I free-handed a big actually, Tony Chopper, look at him. Chopper! If you do not think that Chopper is one of the cutest anime characters of all time, you are objectively wrong. So cute. The live action episode when Chopper was introduced was so sad, but in like a beautiful way. So I was really inspired by that to make him. And like I mentioned, I free-handed him, so there's no pattern. And I feel like I made his hat a little too tall. He's like Abraham Lincoln Chopper. I am very proud of myself, though, that I got his antlers to be the same size. I didn't write it down as I was making it. I was just going based on memory. Technically, in the show, he has 4 little pitchfork spikes, antler tips. I don't know what you would call it, but I only did 2 for simplicity. If you're unfamiliar with this character, he is a reindeer who ate like a human fruit, and so he turned like partially human. So he walks standing upright and he can talk, but he's an adorable little reindeer. For him, I think this is steel cut oats for his body in Premier Basics Brights, like we were just talking about earlier. For the pants, I used, what is it called? Ruby, maybe? And then for the hat, I actually used Elise Voluto because Chopper's hat is like a pinkish red. It's not true red, and this is the perfect color yarn for his hat. It is Elise Voluto pinky red. So his pants are deep red. I'm pointing at his crotch. I'm sorry, that was very inappropriate. His pants are deep red. His hat is pinky red, and I just hand cut the little X and glued it on there. And it is far from perfect, but I think that it really adds to the charm of the handmade aspect of him. And as I was kind of thinking through how I was going to construct this, I was like, do I want to make him standing up or do I want to have him sitting? And I feel like I very rarely do sitting animals. The only ones that I've done recently are my Boba Buddies pattern. So I decided to make him sitting because I thought that that would look really cute, him just sitting on the table at the market. His head is a little floppy because before I had done the hat, it was not, but because the hat is so big and there is stuffing in there, it just added a ton of weight to his head. So now it just kind of looks like he's dozing off and sleeping, and I think that it's cute. He is a blue-nosed reindeer, so we of course had to give him a blue nose. I gave him some blush, but this is one of those cases where I wish that I had a different shade of blush for him because I feel like the color that I have just kind of clashes a little bit with his fur tone. And then for the eyes, I never use these kawaii eyes, but I have a pack of different sizes of them that I got on Amazon forever ago. And if I had had slightly bigger ones, I would have used them, but this was the biggest size that I had. And because he's from an anime, I figured the kawaii eyes would be appropriate. I contemplated doing just like little beady black eyes, but I thought that this gave a little more personality. And then I embroidered some white around them, and he has a little smile. I really like the way that he turned out. I think that he's going to be a fan favorite, especially amongst those who are One Piece fans. And now that I am, I'm very excited to go to conventions and actually look at purchasing One Piece merch, because I would always see it as I was vending and doing my shopping rounds at conventions. But I was just like, it's One Piece. Like, I'm uninterested. I hated that anime. And now I'm a stan. I love it. Look at his little head flop to the side. Oh my gosh. Can we get it to balance? Oh, there we go. We got it to balance. It's not that floppy. I've seen floppier. Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyway, so that is the yarn haul and everything that I made this week. It was a jam-packed, long episode. And next week, next Monday, you're going to have another long episode as I show you everything that I've crocheted for market season. Although keep in mind, so I filmed that 2 weeks ago now. So everything that I've shown you recently is not going to be shown in that video because I filmed it in the past. I want to just have it ready to go. So that is coming up. So you have that to look forward to. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Of course, like I said, leave your opinions on the Mama Made Minis collaboration yarn in the comments section. Keep the discussion going over there, down there. But of course, always be respectful. And before we say goodbye, I need to give an endless thanks to our members in the Cosmic Couch Club. You guys keep this little galaxy spinning. Thank you all so much again. I hope that you have an amazing week. Enjoy the beautiful weather. Hopefully it's beautiful weather where you are too, because it is like 72 degrees this week. Chef kiss. It's so nice. We've been taking Celeste out to the park every single day. Of course, with a lot of sunscreen on her little eye scar that she got a few months ago. But hopefully the weather's nice. Enjoy that fresh air and sunshine. Happy crocheting, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.